And action. Okay. So, first of all, just tell me a little bit about like your personal history with Wilds, how long you've been here, what your involvement in the house is.
Okay. So I've lived at Wild for 4 semesters now. I moved in fall 2012 and I'm moving out fall 2013. I've held work shift manager positions here, and overall, I've had a good couple years here. It's been a blast, and I learned so much.
Also, you don't have to talk to the camera. You can just look at
Okay.
me. Because it's like really weird talking to a camera.
Yeah.
Like, I know what it feels like just staring at that, trying to act natural, but you don't feel natural.
Absolutely no, not at all.
Okay. Also, if you could talk in sound bites, that would be cool.
Sure.
So instead of
What
like,
does that
just
mean?
answering my question, just like sort of putting it into a sentence.
Okay. Do you want to try that again?
Oh, no, totally fine. That's just
Okay.
like an introduction.
Sure.
Okay, so, what do you think makes Wild unique as a living space, social experiment, and community?
I think Wild's pretty unique because everyone here kind of has the same goal. We're all trying to push the LGBTQIA movement, and at the same time, we're all trying to live together as one. And there's not too many other houses out there that has 40 people who are either queer or queer activists, all the same, living together. So I think it's a pretty unique space in that aspect. Also, it's pretty unique because not too many people can say that they live with 40 other people, period. There comes a lot of issues, but then at the same time a lot of positives. We all have to work to maintain a nice, clean, and positive space. And living in an apartment, you just don't get that atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel like, so you mentioned like us trying to be queer but also trying to live together. How do you feel like that intersection kind of like works itself out?
And so the intersection between being wait,
It's
can you
okay,
repeat
just
that?
answer the question. It's
Okay.
okay, you don't have to give me this out,
Alright.
it's totally fine.
So I think it all kind of works itself out in the end because we all realize that we're human, and even though we try to put queer activism on the forefront, we also have to realize that we all come from different backgrounds. We all have the same emotions. We all just want to be happy, and I think, as a matter of fact, one of the biggest things that I learned is that we all have to have good intent when coming into a house with 40 other people who had completely different life experiences than you may have.
Mm-hmm. So, to scale back a little bit, compare the co-ops to like any other type of life that you've ever had, like any other type of situation you've ever lived in. Like, what sets them apart? What are something specific to co-op living? What do you personally find most enjoyable about co-op living?
Oh, gotcha. The co-ops are awesome. For one, there's never really a dull moment. There's 40 people, so you'll find your niche. Whether you like to study, we have a study room, or whether you like to party, there's always someone who has an event going on at any point of the day, every single day. It's also really cool because we also have lots of food, and I remember that was probably the biggest thing that always annoyed me about living at home was preparing my own food. I never really prepared it. I just went out to Trader Joe's and got canned vegetables. So having food prepared every day, that was pretty nifty. Finally, the group atmosphere, I guess. I learned a lot about people in general, about how to solve conflicts, about how to talk to people, about signs for depression or anything, really. Like, you learn a lot about people living in a co-op, and you don't really get that in any other environment.
That's super true. How do you think the combination of like queer students and cooperative living affects the kind of space that Wild is? Because like those three things, like even by themselves, like they're pretty radical, but like combined together, like
Yeah.
it's bombastic.
Yeah, living in a queer space is pretty radical, and living in a co-op space is pretty radical, and mixing those together, it is pretty exponential. It's kind of hard to say how they intersect, it's really nice knowing that whatever we say and do, we always are trying to spread the word of cooperativeness, but at the same time um, be activists for what we believe in. And even though those two don't seem to mesh at first, in the end, living together in a queer community kind of boosts your morale and lets you know that it lets you know that there's other activists out there, because there's a lot of people that move in here who haven't experimented with their sexuality, or who may know that they're not heterosexual, or whatever part of the spectrum they're on. They might not have ever been comfortable with it, and now living in this house with 40 other people who are in similar circumstances as they are, they can really come out of their shoes. And so that's an example of when cooperativeness and being queer kind of mix together.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel this space contributes to like people's personal development as queers?
Yeah. So first off, you get educated in this house. There's a lot of things that just living the queer life doesn't really teach you. You have to go out and experiment and talk with other people who have gone through other experiences that you may not have gone through yet, and you live and learn. So that was probably the biggest thing that helped me living in a queer space, was actually talking to other people who have been through experiences that I may or may not have had yet. Also, it kind of goes out to living in a queer space has helped me a lot in the fact that learning more about living in a queer space has kind of helped me learn about the other aspects of being queer. Like, being queer doesn't just mean gay. It doesn't mean just lesbian or bi. There's a whole spectrum. And living the life as a gay individual, you never really hear about the other aspects, the other corners of the LGBTQIA movement. And living in this house, you kind of get to hear all the stories from all different types of people who are on all parts of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. What do you think sets Wild apart from the other co-ops?
Wild is definitely a more positive atmosphere, a more active atmosphere. Wild as a whole, the people just seem to be way more happy with living life to the fullest. There always is someone going and doing something. There's always someone going out and doing something on any day of the week. We always have nightly dinners at 7 p.m. and we always give the cooks a big yay cooks at the end of every dinner. But what makes us different from all the other co-ops is probably the positivity and the happiness.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like it's like not like that in the other co-ops? Because I've never lived in the other co-ops.
In the other co-ops, I feel like there is positivity. However, I feel like Wild always has something going on. At the other co-ops, they might have something at the very beginning of the semester and at the end of the semester, but during the middle, there's a lot of in-house events, but not a lot of nightly get-togethers. I know all the time people ask me, "Hey Kyle, do you want to do this? Hey Kyle, do you want to do that?" And I don't know. I'm not really quite sure if that exists in all the other co-ops, but that's one thing that I think Wild has going for it.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about house culture, just what it's like living here.
So, it's really cool getting to live out Wild because we have nightly dinners, and those dinners range from vegan, vegetarian meat options. We have council every Sunday, which is pretty nifty because we actually get a say in what happens in our house. If someone wants to do something that will affect the house as a whole, we bring it up and we discuss about it. And if someone wants to give kudos to someone for doing the dishes, that's where it happens too. We have a lot of in-house and out-of-house events, and those are always really fun. They bring the house together as a whole. We have a lot of common space. We have living rooms, we have balconies, we have a roof. So whenever I just get a chance at at relaxing or some downtime, I always go to the balcony and just wait for someone else to come and chit chat with. We have lots of parties. We have the nice big, maybe not the cleanest bathrooms. Oh, and we also have stripper poles or pole dancing poles, and we also get lessons every once in a while. So the house culture, in all, it's on the up and up. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. In all, it's on the up and up. Okay, so what are some of the funniest, craziest, most unexpected, or ridiculous, wild things that happened in your time at the house?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. So there was that time that the girl fell out the window at the party. There was that time when, sadly, we got robbed. But in the end, I feel like everyone who got robbed kind of felt together as one. It kind of brought us together because we all were hurt at that moment. So that was pretty crazy, pretty negative, but in the end, it turned out to be a pretty positive experience. The in-house parties, the room-to-room, where we all dress up our room as a different theme and have different snacks in every room. That's a pretty enjoyable night.
Can y'all turn the music down, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm filming a documentary right now.
Hey!
Oh.
Sorry, I
no.
haven't seen you in so long.
It's
I
like
heard you're
fucking
leaving.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm great. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
For me. I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, let's hang out once I've done this interview. Okay, for sure. Yay!
Oh, he's back.
Oh my god, I haven't seen him in so long.
What else? There. Oh, wait, are we allowed to speak about illegal things? So, I guess another crazy thing was when we had Thanksgiving, when we all got, everyone seemed to get really high, and we had to do our manager.
Thanksgiving.
So Thanksgiving is when we have a big Thanksgiving meal, and we all celebrate it as one big family. However, the only difference is we're all high, because the food is kind of dank, with dank stuff in it. And we actually had Thanksgiving the night before that we had to start our manager elections. So we had to have Thanksgiving the very night that our managers gave their speeches. And that was probably one of the best or terrible ideas ever. I'm not sure which yet. But that was pretty crazy, having to go through hours of speeches while high. I wasn't high, but everyone else was. It was pretty cool to watch. Anyway, special dinners are really fun. It's a big send-off to all the old wildebeests, or the people that used to live here. Those are always fun. I've been through 3 or 4. I don't know, I always seem like I have a lot to tell people about wild, like the special events, the craziness that goes on.
It's totally fine to get camera shy too. Like, I know that I would totally get super scatterbrained if I had this pointed at my face.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have just so many crazy things. Eventually, they all just kind of get jaded in the end. And eventually, you'll just see people, I don't know, walking around naked, and you won't even bat an eyelash. Or, one time the house almost caught on fire. We had a fire in the backyard, and I see smoke outside, and I'm just acting normal. I'm just doing my work. I'm like, it's just smoke. And then the fire alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the house is on fire. And so instead of being normal and going outside, I went and packed up my stuff because I saw there was smoke, and I'm like, oh shoot, all my shit's gonna burn. So I spent a good 10 minutes getting my stuff, and then go outside, and then realize, okay, it's just a little corner of the house that's on fire, but not one of my brightest moments. But anyway, yeah. Those are all the cool events.
Mega Sage. Put it down.
Right, yeah, Sage definitely saved us.
Oh my god.
All the Tafuti, I miss Sage, all the Tafuti cuties.
We had Tafuti Cuties this semester.
Yeah, we did, huh?
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, good
Sage,
times.
Sage was cool. I was like thinking of putting out that fire, and then I was like, what if it's an electrical fire and there's gonna be a huge explosion? I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, seeing the smoke from the study room, that was just so funny because I just didn't even think twice. It's like, oh yeah, it's just smoke.
Somebody's lighting up outside.
Oops. Oh, and we also have so many naked hot tubbing. Speaking of outside, like, I remember my first year here, we had so many naked hot tubbing events. It wasn't even, well, it was kind of funny, but it happened all the time. And then the hot tub broke. And then the house is pretty disappointed. We didn't have much naked hot tubbing since.
And now it's like not even in the house culture anymore.
It's not even a
Nobody
thing.
Goes to the Nobody goes to the hot tub, and like Hayden moved back in, so like the hot tub's fine. And nobody's ever there.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I think naked hot tubbing needs to make a comeback.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that... Oh, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Naked hot tubbing, that... Oh, internet. Hopefully the internet works next semester. But anyway, that's another house culture thing, having slow internet. But you probably don't want to say that.
Oh, by the way, are you okay with me using the poem that you
Yeah.
had in special dinner? Okay, because I filmed that entire thing. Also,
Oh, absolutely. Could you send that
If
to
you
me?
want to have the recording,
Yeah,
I'll send that
I would
to
like
you.
that.
Totally. It was beautiful. What are some things that come to mind when you think about Wilds?
Happiness, parties, studying at the same time, ironically, education, not really school education, but learning about yourself, learning about people as a whole, being able to experiment without being judged, being able to just go out and be yourself. I know a lot of times, a lot of kids don't even know who they are when they come here because society has kind of conformed them into this little package that you have to be. And then when I entered Wild, at least, I realized I can unwind and discover who I really was. And the more I did that, the more I could actually see the world with 20/20 vision. Clarity is another word that I would use. We're all pretty cooperative here. Like I said, we cook dinner. So cooperativeness is definitely another thing that comes to mind because I know in a lot of other living situations, maybe like with a roommate, one person may feel really, really clean and that their other roommate doesn't really do anything. Here, you can't really afford to not do your part in being cooperative. Here, everyone is cleaning a lot of the times just to keep the house in tip-top shape. So that's another thing that comes to mind.
How has Wild impacted your life? How has it changed who you are and what have you learned from the space?
So I kind of learned that the world doesn't really revolve around me. Living with 40 other people, you kind of realize that everyone has the same feelings that you do. They have the same goals, and whatever it is that you are feeling, someone else is probably feeling too. I also learned a lot about the queer culture, queer life outside of the gay versus straight binary. I've learned in general how people will respond to certain things. It's really nice actually getting to know people and their personalities. And if you live by yourself, that's something that you really can't experiment with. If you don't live with live with 40 other people, it's kind of difficult to learn about the human and the human race and personality. I think that was pretty interesting, something I wouldn't have expected once I moved in here.
What would you say to somebody that was moving into the house for the first time?
Have an open mind. Having a closed mind in this house will definitely bring you down in any co-op. There's so many new things that you'll see, experience, and probably even do that you never thought you would do in your wildest dreams. So if you come with an open mind and an open heart and willing to do anything, I think you'll get the most out of it.
Well, those are all the questions that I prepared. Is there any last things that you'd like to say?
Wild's a pretty special place, and I think all the semesters that I lived here, I've definitely taken something new away from it each and every year. Wilds will always hold a place in my heart, and I always see people coming back from 2008, 2007, 2006, 2005, and last week there was someone from 2002 that came by, and they always say how much they miss Weld, and they always share their craziest memories. And who knows, one day I'll be coming back and I'll be saying, wow, do you remember that time that girl fell out the window and then she sued us? And then everyone will be like, no, I never even heard of that. That's crazy. Your year must have been ridiculous. Anyway, it happens all the time. So I plan on being one of those people coming back 10 years from now and seeing all the people living here, wishing I was them, because I know how they're learning about themselves and how they're experiencing new things that I once experienced. So, yeah, that's all.
Promise to visit often, remember fondly, and always keep queerness in your heart.
I promise to visit often. Wait, what?
Wait, okay. I, Kyle Voss, take Oscar Wilde as my one true home.
I, Kyle Voss, take Oscar Wilde to be my one true home.
I promise to visit often, remember
Promise to visit
fondly, and
often.
always keep queerness in my heart.
Promise to visit often,
Remember fondly.
and keep queerness in my heart.
Yay!
Yeah!
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
And